Good evening and welcome to the Pittsburgh Virtual Open House brought to you by the Atlanta Land Trust and the Atlanta Neighborhood Development Partnership. We are excited to be showcasing 3 affordable homes in the Pittsburgh neighborhood this evening and to share with you a little bit more information about the Community Land Trust model that's used by the Atlanta Land Trust to create permanently affordable housing. ANDP is a nonprofit organization which has been working over the past 29 years to promote, create, and preserve mixed income communities throughout the metropolitan Atlanta region. The Atlanta Land Trust is a nonprofit organization working to create permanently affordable housing to support inclusive, equitable communities around the Atlanta Beltline and throughout the city of Atlanta. We're working together to create permanently affordable housing in the Pittsburgh neighborhood in support of the Annie E. Casey Foundation's work to improve education, job opportunities, and health for low-income families. Now let's take a look at the agenda. After our introductions, we'll move into an overview of the Pittsburgh neighborhood. We'll talk about the history of the neighborhood and highlight a couple of key projects that are underway. Then we will provide tours of 3 available homes that we currently have in the Pittsburgh neighborhood: 1170 McDaniel, 1140 Garibaldi, and 1096 McDaniel Street. We'll then review the Atlanta Land Trust and provide an overview of the Community Land Trust model that we use to create permanently affordable housing. We'll talk about what the process is to buy a home through the Atlanta Land Trust, discuss resources available to help you purchase an Atlanta Land Trust affordable home, and then talk about next steps in the home buying process should you like to move forward with buying a home through the Atlanta Land Trust. Joining me today for the presentation are Derek Duckworth, a real estate agent with the Beltline team, and my colleague Karen Babineau, stewardship manager at the Atlanta Land Trust. They will be joining us for the home tours. Now we'll provide an overview of the Pittsburgh neighborhood. Pittsburgh, located just south of downtown, is steeped in history dating back to the Civil War and received National Register historic status as one of Atlanta's oldest neighborhoods. The neighborhood was founded in 1883 by formerly enslaved people with housing built around Pegram Railroad repair shops. The smoke from the rail yards resembled heavy smog produced by the steel mills of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, resulting in the neighborhood's name. Today, amenities in the community include the Pittman Park and Recreation Center, which includes a playground, gym, tennis and basketball courts, and an Olympic-sized pool. Pittsburgh consists of grid-patterned streets with cozy, durable houses on intimate lots. Soon, McDaniel Street will link to the Atlanta Beltline at its southern end. The Atlanta Beltline is one of the largest, most wide-ranging urban redevelopment projects in the United States. The project proposes to reimagine a 22-mile historic loop of railroad tracks encircling the city into a mix of parks, trails, and public transportation. The Beltline is driving increases in home values as people flock to neighborhoods with access to this amenity. The Atlanta Land Trust is focused on ensuring that all Atlantans have access to the Beltline as it is implemented across the city. Pittsburgh is located on the south by the South Side Trail, which is currently under construction, and you can see on this aerial map. The first phase of construction will connect Pittsburgh residents to the existing West Side Trail, which runs through Adair Park, West End, and Washington Park, and will ultimately connect to the East Side Trail to the northeast. Pittsburgh connects to the Beltline through the new Pittsburgh Yards project. This major redevelopment project is transforming a former UPS distribution center into a vibrant community to include maker studios, co-working space, retail, and green space. This 31-acre project is being developed under the leadership of the Annie E. Casey Foundation, with the goal to spur economic equity, job growth, and entrepreneurship for residents of Southwest Atlanta neighborhoods. The NIA building, seen on this slide, will be the first phase to open this year and will include flexible office space and creative maker spaces. Now that you have a feel for the neighborhood, we'd like to show you 3 of the homes we currently have available for purchase. Let's have my co-presenters, Derek and Karen, join me. Derek, what are we going to see today?
Amanda, I'm going to show you a couple of houses on McDaniel Street. It's kind of the lifeline of the Pittsburgh neighborhood. Leads you right into Pittsburgh Yards, and the 3 houses I'm showing you are all new construction, or I'm sorry, the two houses I'm going to show you are new construction, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and completely affordable.
Thanks, Derek. I'm going to also join in show 1140 Garibaldi Street. It's an adorable craftsman style home built in 2005. It's on a intimate lot that is a little bit above the street, so you have a bird's eye view to everything, and it's actually a block from Pittsburgh Yards, so you can enjoy a walk in the evening to Pittsburgh Yards.
So I'm getting ready to show you guys 1170 McDaniel Street, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, as you can see listed for less than $164,000. Like I said earlier, it's new construction, nice level lot, nice little side driveway. The backyard's completely fenced in. I need to go over and do a little bit of yard keeping, but you'll see it's completely new construction. Nice little front porch, and the neighborhood is known to have front porches, so people can kind of sit out front and get to know their neighbors. As you enter the house, you can see you kind of walk into the living room. Great natural light, brand new hardwood floors, kitchen in the middle, brand new kitchen, granite countertops, soft close cabinets. You saw the old tile backsplash back there. Great skylight on these sunny days, helps to give great natural light into the property. On the back side, you can actually see the dining room. As you go through the dining room, you actually go out the back of the house. Mentioned earlier, it's got a great privately fenced yard. Also allows to leave that door open, get natural light and airflow through the house. You see it has this nice little deck here. You can see the 10, 11, 12-year houses, 10, 11, 12-year-old homes on the backside of the Pittsburgh property on McDaniel Street. Again, you see that brand new fence on the backyard, nice little tree that you can make your own. And then we'll dip back into the house. The great thing about these houses, like I said, they're new construction, they're well built, they're Energy Star houses. You see brand new countertops, granite countertops, everything is new in the house. You see that old submarine tile backsplash on the back. Again, back in the living room, that great natural light in the front door. You actually see the first of the 3 bedrooms, all nice sized bedrooms, all have nice little closets. Each room has at least 2 windows in them. Brand new carpet on the flooring. So enough room for a child or an office. Across the hallway from this first room is a second bedroom. So the second bedroom, same size, brand new carpet, again, double windows, again, double doors in the closet, enough room in there, more than enough room for any child. Connected with that little hallway and those double doors we see are actually the laundry chute. Each room has the ceiling fan light in the middle. And then in the middle of this little hallway, we'll also see the first bathroom. So first bathroom still has the granite, brand new tile in there, low flow toilets, great natural lighting again. So a large bathroom that could be shared by more than one person in the house. You can see we actually did you guys the favor of coming up with renderings to show you what the house could look like furnished. So you saw the living room, dining room, and here's the master bedroom. Master bedroom large enough for a queen size bed. That is 1170 McDaniel Street. I believe Karen's going to show you the house on Garibaldi.
I am. That was a very cute house, Derek. I love that house. But my absolute favorite is 1140 Garibaldi. It just sits high above the street. It has some beautiful roses, knockout roses as we walk up. And it also has, not only does it have parking, but it also has green space on both sides of the home. So let's just walk in. A wonderful sitting porch, rocking chair porch. And there's our neighbor. So as we enter, you enter into the living room. There's a fireplace, a working fireplace. You see the hardwood floors, and it has the same floor plan with the 2 bedrooms on the side as the house on McDaniel Street. These are really nice sized rooms with lots of light, nice sized closets that can be continually built out for everybody who has a lot of shoes. The bathroom is a standard bathroom, but it has nice granite countertops, which is really nice when you're polishing your nails and you don't want to waste anything. All of the homes are energy efficient. They have ceiling fans to add to the airflow of the house. And as we walk back out to the living room, we have a closet in the hallway. And we walk back out to the living room, you can see it's the open concept plan with a open breakfast bar. Again, that is the laundry closet, so you don't have to go up and down stairs with your laundry. Really big kitchen. I like this flow of this kitchen. It has a double sink and a microwave vent fan. And when you walk to the back, you have your secret. There's some stairs that lead to a really nice, secluded master bedroom. And as you walk up, you see the light just floods the house. The master bedroom is not just one room. There's two sections. You have a large open space where you can have your bed, and then you have a small nook where you can have your reading chair. You could have a little couch. There's the large walk-in closet with shelving already waiting for your clothes. That's the nook I was talking about. It's so nice. And we have there's two walk-in closets. So your shoes can have one walk-in closet and your clothes can have the other. And as you walk through, you have a very large bathroom with separate shower and tub, garden tub for those long days you want to soak. Lots of light in here. And the granite countertops in the bathroom. And as you walk out, you can walk back down your stairs and you have an adorable backyard that's just waiting for your personal touch. No trees, but you can plant the tree on your first anniversary of your home purchase. So you have this really large kitchen that opens up into your living room. And as Derek said, a lot of people can't visualize, just from looking at an empty house. So we've staged some virtual pictures for you. There's my favorite part, those roses. And the Pittsburgh flag. This is the master bedroom. This is one side. Here's your living room with your dining room table and another view of the living room. And you see how much furniture can fit in there. So this is 1140 Garibaldi Street, waiting for new homeowners. Back to you, Derek.
I appreciate it. We're going to go back down to McDaniel Street and see 1096 McDaniel Street, another house that was built in 2019, another 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, $159,000. These properties are also available with down payment assistance from Invest Atlanta, so you can get some help with the down payment. Again, these houses are a short walk into Pittsburgh Yards. As we enter the house again, this is kind of the same floor plan as we saw in the last house, 1170 McDaniel Street. You'll see you have the open concept, so you can see from the front all the way to the back. You see the brand new hardwood floors. You see the great natural light comes in again. This one, you also have a little bit of a different color scheme in the kitchen. So you have a little bit darker cabinets, the darker granite, but everything is brand new again. You see you have the dining room on the back side of the property. So you have the great natural light that flows all the way through the house. I think I saw Tamara had asked a question earlier about appliances. So each one of these houses does come with an appliance package, stainless steel appliance package. It usually gets installed 3 or 4 days before the closing, but yes, they do come with appliances. Back in the video, you see we just went through the dining room and out the back of the house. Again, it has a nice private backyard that needs your personal touch. Great property, again, brand new HVAC systems. I need to stop saying brand new appliances, brand new this, brand new that, because everything in the house is brand new construction. Same layout as the last one. So you got that middle bedroom again with the double lights or double windows, great natural light in there, double doored closet. You have the hallway in between the 2 front bedrooms with the the bathroom between the two bedrooms. Again, you see the size of that closet. You come back out, you see the natural light in the living room. You saw that granite in that middle bathroom. Again, you walk into the front bedroom. All the properties come with the ceiling fans in the bedrooms. All of them come with the carpet in the bedrooms, wall-to-wall carpet in the bedrooms. Otherwise, it's brand new hardwood going all the way front to the back of the house. Just the bedrooms have the carpet. Again, you see a nice little closet there, big enough for any child's room or office. All the properties have the great natural light. All the bathrooms have the matching granite that matches in the front kitchen. So you'll see the theme throughout the house. You won't have to worry about having different color granites in different parts of the house. And then again, brand new tile on the floor and the submarine tile in the bathroom. So you see a lot of care went into building these houses. These are awesome houses, very affordable houses. And you see that they did not skimp on any of the development of these properties. You see the pocket door there that gives you a little extra room. Again, you see the natural light. All three houses today, we actually came up with the staging. So you can actually see the furniture in there. So you can get an idea how your furniture might fit in the houses. So I believe the last three pictures we'll see in a couple seconds will be of the living room, the dining room, and the master bedroom. Again, I believe these pictures are actually the master bath. Again, you see pocket doors in there to give you a little bit more room in there. So you can see they're well engineered and they're well thought out, new tile floors. Here it is with the furniture in there, virtually staged with a queen size bed. The back dining room, open concept, see all the way through to the dining room. And then you see the living room with furniture and the natural light in the front. These are awesome properties. Like, they're very exciting to show. They're very exciting to sell. Again, it's kind of leads you into the Pittsburgh Yards neighbor or development, and it's perfect for any first-time home buyer. Amanda?
Thanks, Derek, and thank you, Karen. We do have a question from the audience that I would like to share. Tamara wanted to know what is being done about crime in the neighborhood. Derek, are you able to answer that question for us?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, I actually used to live in Adair Park for 20 years, right across the street from the Pittsburgh neighborhood. There's a lot being done. I don't know if too many people know about the NPU system, but we do meet with the police every single month in these neighborhoods. The police are very forefront in everything. We've actually had a couple officers move into the neighborhood. So the Casey Foundation, which is partnering with ANDP for these properties, are very good about trying to reach out to the communities and make these neighborhoods safer. So we've given incentives for different home buyers to come in that are actually police officers. But we do meet with the police every week, or every month, I should say. And as well as that, we also have different security measures like text trees and those type of things. So the neighborhood is really good about knowing each other, getting to know everybody. The Beltline's been in there, having these conversations about police in the neighborhood. So there's really a lot going on. And I'd probably say that people might have a ill-conceived notion of what these neighborhoods are like. I'd say Pittsburgh, for somebody that lived across the street from the neighborhood, I'd say it's safer than most neighborhoods in Atlanta. So I would invite somebody to come down and see the properties with me. We can walk from one property to the other and actually get a feel for the neighborhood and see that crime is not as bad as we actually thought it was. Hopefully that's helpful.
Thanks, Derek. And Derek is the listing agent that we have for these three properties. So on the next slide, you will see his contact information provided. If you're interested in touring one of the houses, you just heard his invitation, you can reach out to him directly to schedule time to visit the homes and tour them yourself in person. We would invite you to do that and love to have you. Now we'd like to spend a little bit of time introducing you to the Atlanta Land Trust, which is the organization where I work, and provide an overview of the tool that we use in order to create these permanently affordable homes, which is called a community land trust. First, just a quick overview about the Atlanta Land Trust. We are, again, a nonprofit organization. Our mission is to deliver and steward permanently affordable housing to support inclusive, equitable communities near the Atlanta Beltline and other targeted areas of the city of Atlanta. And our vision is a livable, equitable, and economically viable city where historically marginalized populations and communities of color can access and benefit from opportunities and prosper. As I mentioned before, the Atlanta Land Trust uses the community land trust model in order to create this permanently affordable housing. There are over 250 community land trusts across the country. This is really a very well-tested and well-utilized tool that's been used in small neighborhoods and large cities across the country. The community land trust model actually has its roots in Georgia. It was originally started in Albany, Georgia in the 1960s during the Civil Rights Movement. So we're really excited at the Atlanta Land Trust to be introducing this tool to home buyers in Atlanta. We think that it is a really sustainable way to create affordable housing in our city. So on this slide here, this graphic explains how a community land trust works. Provides kind of a big picture overview of how our organization functions. First, community land trusts use various sources of capital to buy land within our focus area. And again, we can operate anywhere in the city of Atlanta, but we're really focused on the Beltline corridor because we see that property values are rapidly increasing in those neighborhoods that are close to the Beltline. And so we want to make sure that people who have lived there a long time don't get displaced, and that there remain affordable housing options for people who want to live and experience the Beltline. Once we acquire land, we then develop affordable housing on that land. Once the housing is developed, we find income qualified, low income home buyers. We then sell the home to the income qualified family, and we retain ownership of the land. This is called a dual ownership model, where we're separating ownership of the house from ownership of the land. We'll then enter into a long-term ground lease with all of our home buyers that give them rights to be on the land, but also establishes restrictions around the resale of the property. Specifically, we'll get into those restrictions a little bit later, but there are restrictions around the price for which you can sell the home and the income of the next buyer that you can sell the home to. And the goal really is to make sure that you are paying forward the benefit of an affordable home that you receive to another low-income family for an affordable price. So we have a resale formula in our ground lease that tells you how much you're going to be able to sell your house for when you sell it. As long as the homeowner stays in the house, they do have an opportunity to build equity. The resale formula balances that long-term affordability with wealth creation for each of the individual families in the home. And then when the homeowner is ready to sell, we'll work with them to go through the resale process to ensure that they're earning a portion of the equity and that the home is sold at an affordable price to the next buyer. The new resident is then able to buy a home at a price that's been kept affordable, and then they agree to the same requirements around resale. So what we're doing is we are creating affordability for multiple generations of family over time. Now, what I'd like to do is share a video with you that was made by our friends at the Grounded Solutions Network that provides a really quick but thorough overview of how a community land trust works.
He sells just the home to a low-income. Community land trusts, or CLTs, are nonprofit organizations that acquire, own, and steward land permanently for the common good. The most common CLT land use is housing, but retail, office, and a variety of other uses are possible. CLTs give formal decision-making voice and power to local community residents in determining land uses. Here's how CLTs make home buying affordable for families in their communities. First, the CLT builds or buys homes using one-time public or private investment. Next, the CLT sells just the home to a low-income buyer who qualifies for a mortgage, and the CLT keeps the land, holding it in trust for future generations of home buyers. In return for being able to buy a home at a discounted price, the family agrees to pay it forward and sell to another low-income family at a price they can afford. The CLT manages the sales process, ensuring that each home buying family builds some wealth from a predetermined, limited amount of the sales proceeds. In this way, the one-time public or private investment in CLT homes makes lasting affordability a reality and stabilizes communities. And CLTs benefit the larger community too, as they preserve and protect housing for long-term residents, helping to build stronger, safer, and higher quality diverse neighborhoods, contributing to greater educational attainment, employment opportunities, and health outcomes. Visit groundedsolutions.org to learn more about CLTs today.
Great. Hopefully that video provided a helpful overview of the Community Land Trust model. If you want to watch it again, it is on the homepage of the Atlanta Land Trust website, which is atlantalandtrust.org. It's also on my Twitter profile, which is ATL Land Trust. So if you want to share this with family or friends, it's a great way to provide folks with a quick overview of how this tool works. Next, we wanted to move on to provide an overview of some of the benefits of community land trust or CLT homeownership. CLT homeownership mitigates the risks of traditional homeownership, strengthens residential stability, and promotes equitable wealth building. First, it provides community control. Community land trusts take land out of the speculative real estate market and put it into control of the community. So when we buy land, we are removing it from the real estate market so that other investors and market rate buyers cannot acquire it. And then we develop that land based on what the needs are within that specific community. So we're really focused at the Atlanta Land Trust on affordable housing, but community land trusts across the country do everything from agricultural land to affordable retail space for local businesses to affordable office space for nonprofit organizations. So the use of the land really needs to be driven by what that specific community needs. It also provides housing stability. Looking at national data, the average move rate for shared equity households, which is another term for CLT, is 2.6% compared to 14% for all households nationwide. So CLT homeowners move at a significantly lower rate than other households. They also benefit from a predictable and consistent monthly housing cost. So if you are owning a CLT home, you know what your mortgage payment is going to be every month. You're not subject to a landlord who could increase your rent without much notice, or who could decide to divest themselves of their property, sell their property, and force you to move and find another home in that way. So it provides both stability in the control of your home and also the costs that you're incurring for housing on a monthly basis. Community land trust homeownership also provides a pathway to traditional homeownership. So we recognize that the community land trust model may not be a good fit for everybody, and some people may aspire to traditional homeownership where you own both the home and the land and have the full benefit of all of the equity in your house. CLT can help to get you there. If you are a first-time home buyer, you've rented your whole life, and you want to buy a house, but you don't know how to get from point A to point B, or you financially aren't able to get from being a renter to being a traditional homeowner, a CLT can provide a stepping stone between the two. That said, if you want to stay in your CLT home for your whole life and pass it down to your heirs, you also have the ability to do that. So there's a lot of flexibility in the model. There's no minimum amount of time that you need to live in your home, and you can stay in it as long as you want. And we found that nationally, when shared equity households sold their homes and moved, the majority chose to purchase again. That's 58% of those homeowners went on to buy a market rate home. And then lastly, it provides an opportunity for wealth creation. It is limited wealth creation relative to traditional market rate home ownership, but we did find that looking at national data, the median shared equity household accumulates about $14,000 through an initial investment of about $1,800. So that's really a great return on that investment. We expect in Atlanta that our homeowners will be able to realize a greater amount of equity than in that example and in other markets across the country. But it is balanced against making sure that the home is affordable for the next buyer. Now we wanted to share with you a few facts about community land trust home ownership. As I mentioned before, the community land trust home is governed by a long-term ground lease and a special warranty deed on improvements. So normally when you buy a house, you are buying the house and you get one deed, and the deed is for both the house and the land. What we do with the land trust is we separate ownership of the house from ownership of the land. So there are two deeds, a deed for the land and a deed for the improvements. The Atlanta Land Trust keeps the deed for the land, and the deed for the improvements goes to the homeowner. And then we enter into a long-term ground lease together that again establishes roles, responsibilities, and restrictions on the property. As I mentioned before, the home can transfer to heirs upon death of the homeowner. Those heirs would include anybody that's lived in the house for over a year or immediate family members, such as siblings, parents, and children. When our CLT homeowners make the decision that they're ready to sell their home and move on, we do have the option to purchase the home directly from the homeowner. We would do this to put somebody else in the home that's already gone through our process, but we will not be buying the house at a discount. So we will pay the same price that any other buyer will pay. It'll just be a faster process if we choose to exercise that option to purchase, and it will allow for us to get a qualified homeowner in the house faster. With a community land trust home, you are required to have both homeowners insurance and flood insurance if the home is in a flood zone, as you would with any traditional home ownership. You are going to be restricted from leasing your home in the community land trust model. We really want to make sure that the homes that we're selling are affordable to, or we're providing affordability for as many homeowners as possible. So we ask that if you need to move out of Atlanta and it's permanently, that you work with us to find another qualified buyer for the home. If you're leaving Atlanta temporarily and you intend to come back, whether it's for work or school or a family matter, we will work with you to allow for you to lease it temporarily to somebody that meets the same income qualifications that you did when you bought the house. As a community land trust homeowner, you have financial responsibilities that are very similar to traditional homeownership, and then a couple of additional responsibilities. Somebody on Facebook did ask the question about what the monthly lease fee is. So the Atlanta Land Trust charges a total of $55 a month for a combined land use and repair reserve fee. The land use fee is a total of $35 and the repair reserve fee is $20. The land use fee is used by the Atlanta Land Trust to cover our administrative costs and to provide you all with post-purchase stewardship programming. The repair reserve is a separate account that we create and hold that money in for you. You then would have the ability to access those funds if you have any repair or maintenance issues that need to be addressed with your home. So that is your money. We just set it aside for you and you're able to access it if you have any issues with your house. And if you have money left over in that fund, when you decide to sell your home, you will get that money back. You will also be responsible for property taxes. And a question was asked on Facebook about who pays the property taxes on the land. So the homeowner is responsible for property taxes on both the land and the home itself. If you've gotten a tax bill before, you'll know that the Fulton County tax assessor separates the value of the home from the land. The best practice nationally for community land trusts is that the homeowner pays both. But we will work closely with you to ensure that your property taxes are fair and reasonable and that your property is assessed at the affordable price, not the market value. And if it's not, we will partner with you to appeal that value and make sure that it's corrected. And then lastly, you'll be responsible for all of your utilities, just like you would under typical homeownership. I've referenced our resale formula. The resale formula, again, is in the ground lease. And this is the formula that we use to calculate what you can sell your home for when you're ready to sell and move out of the community land trust home. There are 3 resale formulas that community land trusts use across the country: the appraisal-based formula, a fixed rate formula, and an index formula. We use 2 of those formulas. And the formula that we use for your house will be dependent upon what neighborhood your home is in. We use the appraisal-based formula in most of the neighborhoods around the Beltline in the city. Through the appraisal-based formula, the initial purchase price is increased over time by a specific percentage of the market value. So for the Atlanta Land Trust, that's 25%. So you're able to share in 25% of the appreciation of the home. So we look at the value of the home when you buy it and the value of the home when you sell it. The difference between those 2 numbers is the appreciation or depreciation of your home. You are able to share in 25% of that appreciation. Consequently, you also would share in 25% of the depreciation if your home decreased in value. The fixed rate formula is a little bit more straightforward, and this is the formula that we use for all of the homes in the Pittsburgh neighborhood. So the 3 homes that you saw earlier in the presentation that Derek and Karen showed you, those would all utilize the fixed rate formula. And under this formula, the purchase price of the home is increased over time by a fixed annual percentage. So for our formula, we use 2%. So if you are in your home for 10 years, the value of your home is increased by 20%. So if you bought your home for $200,000, 10 years later you wanted to sell it, you would be able to sell it for $240,000. So we take 200 and add 20% of 200 to arrive at $240,000. Next, we wanted to review the home buyer requirements. There were another couple questions that popped up on Facebook about this. Typically, we are looking at individuals and families that have incomes at or below 80% of the area median income. This is a number that the federal government produces every year for the metro Atlanta area. This is the standard measure that all affordable housing programs use. So we are targeting families that are at or below 80% of that number. You'll also need to be employed, disabled, or a senior citizen. You'll need to have some source of income so that you can qualify for a mortgage. And your minimum credit score needs to be 620. That's not to say that if your credit score is 620, you will automatically qualify. There are a lot of other things that the mortgage lenders have to take into consideration when underwriting individuals for mortgages, but the lowest credit score you'll be able to have and move forward is 620. And if you look at this slide, we've included a table that has the 2020 recently released incomes. And you can see here that if you have one person in your family at 80% of the area median income, you can't make more than $46,320. If you have 3 people in your family, say maybe you're a single mom that has 2 kids, then your income limit would be $59,600. So you couldn't make more than that. We're really looking at the number of people that are going to live in the home, not the number of people that are actually earning an income. All right, next we wanted to talk about the home buying process. And this process, we like to say, it's not linear. You don't have to take these steps in order. People come into our program at all different points, and we welcome that, and we will work with you. But we've laid it out here in kind of the ideal order that you could do things that'll make it easiest on you. But really, you can come in at different points in time based on what your personal situation is. So first, we want folks to learn about our program. You're doing that today. You're understanding our qualification criteria. We'd also ask that you attend a community information session. These are events that are held on a monthly basis It's typically the second Saturday of the month. We've been holding them virtually since COVID-19. We look forward to returning to in-person sessions in the fall, hopefully. But this information session will provide you with a more detailed understanding of this model and the ground lease. And we'll also share with you all of our available properties. Our next community information session will be held on July 11th, and you can register for that right now at our website, atlantalandtrust.org/events. Next, you'll want to determine your program eligibility. You will complete an application for the Atlanta Land Trust. You will submit income verifying documentation so that we know that you don't make too much money to qualify for the program. That documentation will include your pay stubs and your W-2s. And then you'll schedule and attend a one-on-one counseling session with one of our providers. We actually have 2 now that we're working with: Resources for Residents and Communities and On the Rise Financial Center. This one-on-one counseling session will provide you with an in-depth understanding of the community land trust model and the ground lease once again. But it will also review your personal financial situation, help you understand if there are challenges that you need to address and what type of home you may be qualified to purchase. Next, you'll complete the homebuyer education and get mortgage pre-approval. So you'll have another education requirement that you have to fulfill. This is an 8-hour homebuyer education class that many other organizations do require, including the down payment assistance providers that we work with. This class will provide you with a big picture overview of what homeownership entails and what those responsibilities are. And then you'll obtain a mortgage loan pre-approval letter from one of our 4 approved lenders that we have listed later in the presentation. It's really important that you work with one of our pre-approved lenders because not everybody understands how a community land trust works and how to underwrite a mortgage for this type of program. And then lastly, you'll be able to find your new home. You can review our available properties on our website. You would then work with your real estate agent to write a contract. You'll review the terms of your ground lease and sign the affidavit at the end of the ground lease. And then we will meet you at closing where you'll sign your ground lease and then you'll be able to move into your new home. So we wanted to now move into a review of the financing tools that are available for the purchase of the Atlanta Land Trust homes. First, just a quick overview of the mortgage products that are available. You will have to get a first mortgage on your home. There are several loan products that work well with the community land trust model, including both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac conventional loans, portfolio loans, housing finance agency loans, and VA loans. You will be required again to work with one of our 4 approved lenders. They will let you know what loan products they have available and what will be a good fit for you. You have all of their contact information here on this slide. And if you're interested in moving forward, we can also provide that separately. But please do remember, it is a requirement that you work with one of these approved lenders and that you go through all of the educational requirements prior to putting a home under contract. Next, we'll talk about down payment assistance programs available. We have 3 different providers that we work with who will provide down payment assistance to our buyers. The first is Invest Atlanta. They have 2 different programs available. Down payment assistance can be used to reduce your mortgage required to buy your home or to pay for some of the closing costs. So if you're eligible, these are great programs that can all be layered together to help make your home more affordable. The first Invest Atlanta program is called AHOP, the Atlanta Affordable Homeownership Program. Through this program, you can get up to $14,000, again, towards down payment assistance and closing costs in the form of a 0% soft second mortgage. Your income can't exceed 80% of AMI, and you must be a first-time home buyer. And if you sell your property before 5 years, you have to repay a portion of the loan. So this is an important consideration. Think about how long you plan on being in your home. And if you plan on being there less than 5 or 10 years, you may not want to use these down payment assistance programs because you will have to repay a portion of the funds. If you stay in the home for the required period, this loan is forgiven and the money becomes equity in your home. The second program Invest Atlanta offers is the In-Town Mortgage Assistance Program, or IMAP. You can get $10,000 through this program. Your income can be a little bit higher, up to 120% of AMI. And if you sell before 10 years, you must repay the loan. The requirements for Invest Atlanta's program are attendance at their homebuyer Q&A session, enrollment in a homebuyer education class, which again is a requirement for the land trust as well, obtain pre-qualification with one of their participating lenders. All of our lenders are approved to work with Invest Atlanta, and the home has to be in the city of Atlanta. Next, we have Atlanta Housing, also known as the Atlanta Housing Authority. They have one down payment assistance program that we utilize, the Homeownership Assistance Program. This is a really generous program that provides between $20,000 and $25,000 towards down payment and closing costs. Household income can't exceed 80% of AMI, and you must be a first-time home buyer. And if the property is sold before 10 years, a portion of the loan must be repaid. Requirements are very similar to Invest Atlanta. You have to enroll in a qualified homebuyer education class, work with a participating lender, and buy a home within the city. And then lastly, we have a new down payment assistance program that we're really excited to share with you all through our partner at ANDP. This homeownership assistance program provides between $5,000 and $10,000 towards down payment, closing costs, and principal reduction. Household income can't exceed 80% of AMI, and they have special programs available for first-time home buyers and community partners, military veterans, and overseas military veterans. If the property sold before 5 years, you have to repay a portion of the loan. The requirements, again, are similar. You have to complete homebuyer education program, contact and work with a participating lender, and buy a home within the metro Atlanta area. Okay, next, we wanted to review next steps for you if you decided that you did want to move forward with buying a home through the Atlanta Land Trust. You've already reviewed the program qualification criteria. You've heard it in this presentation. If you want to look at it again, it is available on our website. The most important thing is to understand what your income is and make sure that it's below the 80% of AMI requirement. Next, you can sign up to attend our community information session, which again is on July 11th at 10 a.m. That will be a virtual community information session that we host through Zoom. You can sign up for that at atlantalandtrust.org/event. You will then complete the electronic program application, which you can find at atlantalandtrust.org/application. And there are instructions on the application about who you can send that to once it's complete. It is an electronic application, so you can fill it out on your computer and then email it to Karen. Next, you would want to contact one of our preferred lenders and get a pre-approval letter for your mortgage loan. This pre-approval letter will tell you how much of a home you can afford so that you can then go out and find a home that's within your price range. You can then schedule and attend a one-on-one counseling session. Atlanta Land Trust staff, Karen, who you met earlier, she will work with you to get that counseling session scheduled with either RRC or On the Rise Financial Center. You can schedule a tour of an available Atlanta Land Trust home of your choice anytime. You have Derek's contact information. We can provide it again in the chat. And then you can enter into a contract on the available home of your choice. So I know that we have gotten a few questions in during the presentation. I'm going to try and touch on as many of these as I can. We did get a question from Rory about refinancing. Refinancing does have to be approved by the Atlanta Land Trust before you do it. If you are reducing your principal through refinancing, we will approve it if you're just reducing your interest rate. But if you're refinancing to take out money, that's not something that we generally are going to approve. Rory also asked how long the process takes. The process really is dependent largely on how quickly you meet the education requirements. And it also can depend on whether or not you are seeking down payment assistance. If you're looking to get down payment assistance from each of these 3 different organizations, it can take a long time because they each need several weeks to underwrite the package. So that can take several months after you put the home under contract to go through that process. But I would say generally we can do it between 60 and 90 days. We did get a question about layering on down payment assistance. So again, the 3 down payment assistance providers that we listed, you can layer all of their programs together. So you could buy a home where you have a first mortgage and 3 different forms of down payment assistance. We did get a question about the availability of floor plans. I do not know if we have floor plans. I'm looking to see if Derek or Karen has access to floor plans for the properties.
ANDP said they had copies of the floor plans they would send me, and I will forward them out. I think Rory's one that asked for them, so I'll forward them to him.
Okay, great. Thanks, Derek. I think that covers it. We have addressed all of the questions that have come up during the presentation. You can contact us through our website, again, atlantalandtrust.org. You see Derek's contact information is up if you want to tour one of the homes that you saw today. We are so appreciative of the time that you all took to be with us this evening. We are really hopeful that you'll be interested in buying a home through us, and we hope to see you at our next community information session on July 11th. Thanks again, and have a great evening.